Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dawg, and I've got a fantastic presentation for you today. I've got the mentors, the people from J&L Marketing. I've got Jamil Zabeneh.
You'll never get it right. I will have this recorded. I will have this recorded and played around the office nonstop.
I've got Jamil Zabeneh on and Scott Joseph. Hi guys, how you doing?
We're doing great.
Great. You know, Jim, most people call him Jamal. I mean, you don't have to. They mess up the first name just as bad as the last.
Well, yeah, that's a Christmas thing. You know, Jamal and the Night Visitors. You know, just everybody played that play in elementary school.
Jim, it's better than having two first names. That's all I have to say.
Well, that's true.
Oh God, J&L Marketing, Louisville, Kentucky. Jamil, what's the latest news? Who is a Google Premier Partner? What does that mean?
Yeah, no, Jim, we're super excited. We were emailed last week by Google. We just became a Google Premier Partner for 2022. And the top 3% ad agencies in the world get that recognition. So we're super excited. And it goes to our team's hard work of what we've really accomplished over the last 8 to 9 years.
What is J&L Marketing? What do you do? What do you specialize in? Why are you better than all the competition out there? Let's go all those subjects all at once.
Absolutely. So a lot of people know J&L Marketing. We were primarily in the automotive industry over the last 30 plus years. And over the last really 5 to 7, we've branched out to other
verticals. Wait a second, 30 years in business?
That's right. Scott started the business when he was 12.
Oh, I was going to say.
So I actually started when I was 22. So yeah, we're going on 31 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 31 years.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
So 30 years ago, we started J&L Marketing primarily in the car business. How many clients do you guys have now?
We are over 700 active clients on a monthly basis.
Yeah. You've got monthly subscribers, more than 700 subscriber dealers. I mean, you know, J&L Marketing, if you haven't heard of these guys, we're talking the big boys here. We're talking step up to first class, upgrade.
Yeah. But no, Jim, you kind of asked us, you said, well, you know, tell us a little bit about J&L Marketing. And I think the one thing that separated us over the last 30 years is it goes back to our passion. Our passion is the excitement of outsmarting the competition. So no matter where we started more on the traditional side for the first 20 years, and now full on the digital, which encompasses over 80% of our overall revenue as a company in auto and outside of auto, what we do is we put strategies together for our clients to truly outsmart the competition. In today's day, you got to do that, especially when most of our customers or clients are in the commodity world.
Well, how much staff do you have to accomplish that?
We have over 50 employees at J&L now, and then we have about 100 contractors throughout the United States.
And what are you concentrating on now? Dealers can basically sell every car they can get if they can get inventory. Mm-hmm. What's the concentration? Why should a dealer spend any money at all on advertising?
That's a great question. So we actually just came back from our business bourbon and cigars event where we spent really 3 to 4 days talking about this. And what came out of that is there's a ton of opportunity for every dealership. So yes, on new, dealerships are doing really well, but there's opportunity for them to acquire more cars from the general public instead of auction.
Inventory acquisition, big subject.
Absolutely. There's opportunity for them to obviously sell more used cars. I think COVID's really helped dealerships focus in and see there's a huge profit center on used. And then where we're seeing a ton of growth is service. It's been fascinating, Jim, sitting down with so many service directors, service managers, marketing managers over the last 3 to 4 years. And service, while sales has really evolved and adapted to new marketing strategies, service, if most service managers are spending the same way they spent 12, 15 years ago. They have a basic service reminder program with direct mail and maybe email. They do blast out to inactive customers to help their service effectiveness or service retention scores. So we've really been able to come to them with some new creative ideas that is much more cost effective. It's going to generate a lot better ROI.
Service has been the stepchild of the dealership forever. I mean, if you look at a website, there's 30 pages all dedicated to the sale of a car. And if there's a page on service, it's just to schedule an appointment, or there's no creative selling of service anywhere on the website. What's the answer? What's the answer, guys?
Do you want
go
to
ahead, Jamil? No, this is your baby, man. Go right ahead.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Jim. There has to be a focus on the website to showcase what a dealership offers in the service department. Why does a dealership break out their inventory? If it's a BMW store, why do they break it out between the X5s, the X7s, the 5 Series, the 3 Series? Because those are the different models they offer. Because then if you do paid traffic or even organic traffic, you know what pages to send it to. But a typical, and you hit the nail on the head, Jim, typical service dealership on the service side, they have service as just one option. They have maybe one service specials page. Maybe they have then service online scheduler. It's not built out for what consumers are looking for.
Well, what are you doing about that?
Yeah, so what we do is not only do we handle the paid media, Jim, for all of our clients, but the paid media is only as good as the pages that they take them to. So what we do is we do it all turnkey. We not only do the paid media and create what the offers are going to be for that dealership, but we make sure there's individual pages built out for each individual offer.
Okay, so I'm trying to grasp exactly what you're doing with service. I mean, it's mind-boggling that dealers have not spent the money on service. Now you're getting dealers to put a budget towards service. Is this all digital? What are you doing?
Yeah. So what we do first is we first talk to a dealership and say on a monthly basis, what are you wanting to offer? What are you going to help increase your sales? In most dealerships, it's a general service offer, maybe oil change page, brakes, alignments, tires, general batteries as an example. So we build out the pages. Then what we do is we identify the target market. We have what's called a proven process at J&L where we identify the target market. Most likely that can be conquest prospects, people that have never, ever been in the dealership, are not in the DMS, or targeting inactive customers one-to-one. And we target them through Google paid search, display advertising, Facebook and Instagram advertising, discovery ads inside of Google, and even YouTube.
So Jim, if you think about it, you'd mentioned earlier that a dealership's website or page is usually an afterthought, right? And when you go there, you're lucky if you find anything more than a scheduling tool. Let's say I want to go there and they have some type of service savings or some type of special that they are promoting in the store. 75% of the time, it's not updated on the dealer's website. They were good about updating the front end of the store. Back end, they're not so much. But even if it's updated, you can only position that one offer at the top of the page. So let's say, for instance, I'm searching for brakes. Well, most dealers at the top of the page have the oil change because it's the most common thing. You've only got 5 seconds to grab someone's attention before they bounce. So if you're asking someone to scroll down through the specials and whatever they searched for, because that's what they need to repair, is not right there front and center when they get on, there's a good chance they bounce and they never see it.
If they have to look for it, they're out of here.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And then it's critical to make sure that these pages are not iframe pages or they're not subdomains. They're actually a working part of the website. So the dealer gets all the SEO value and stuff like that. Jamil, I'll let him talk about that, but because that's something that he's worked very hard on these last 12 months to make that happen. So.
Fantastic. Well, Jamil, what else is important that we need to do right now? I'm looking at service, and I never was a general manager because I didn't understand service. And 95%, 96%, 97%, I'm gonna pull a number out of my anatomy. 99% of people in general manager positions came out of the sales department.
Yeah.
they don't think or understand service. So
no, you're 100% correct. Well, I think with service, with digital marketing on the service side, everyone has to understand, number one, most dealerships, they want to do marketing on the service side to pretty much accomplish one of two goals, either to find new customers or to bring back inactive customers. The problem is most dealerships are doing that with the most expensive channel, which is direct mail. And we do direct mail. So I'm not saying anything bad against direct mail. Direct mail is very good.
Direct mail, and there's probably a place for direct mail, but how effective is digital over direct mail? Because I mean, you've got the Google Premier status, which is evidently very prestigious.
Appreciate it.
And so,
well, it's a big deal socially because it justifies or proves, from a social proof standpoint, I guess, that we have a lot of clients. They're sticking with us. We service them well, but it goes beyond just the prestige of it. It goes on because once you achieve that, you get much higher levels of support from Google. So, they obviously see us doing the things the right way and awarded us. You've got to have a certain volume to do it. You've got to be able to service the accounts the right way and more importantly, build out the account structures the right way. So all that's happening, but we're excited about it because of what happens and what it allows us to do on the back end working with Google. So I don't want to speak for Jamil on that. He knows more about that than I do.
No, absolutely. And Jim, to answer your question on the service side, why is digital an effective channel? So let's just do the numbers real quick, okay? We'll be very simplistic. Toyota dealerships, they have what's called TLE scores, okay? And it's based off of inactives or VIN operations in their market. So let's pretend that you had 2,000 people that you needed to bring back into your dealership and a big bonus was on the line. So you can send out a direct mail piece, and let's just, for easy math, say it's 80 cents for that mail piece, okay? Send it out, 2,000 people, 80 cents. Or you can take those 2,000 people, you can upload it into Facebook, Instagram, into display, in terms of Google Display Network, target them via display ads, which is across every known website pretty much, discovery ads. And here's the cost difference. That one mail piece was 80 cents. I can send 1,000 ads to that customer for $4 on average. So essentially, I'm going to be able to stay in front of these very, very important people, get my message across. Why is my dealership unique? Why am I better? And do it for fractions of pennies versus 80 cents.
So you're getting all those impressions for $4. I mean, that's astounding. So
that's what it works out to be. It's called CPM, stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. And if you look at it across those channels, you're paying on average $4, maybe $5, and it's extremely targeted. And then you then factor in digital marketing as a conquest tool. I can load in all my active customers and tell Google and Facebook, I don't want to target them. And then I already have a strategy for inactive customers. And now I'm going after pure conquest for fractions of pennies versus trying to send out a mail piece for 80 cents to a prospect that has never done business with me before and is going to be a lot more expensive to bring in.
Absolutely. Let me ask Scott a question. Scott, I'm a dealer. I'm a brand new dealer, prospect client. I'm talking to J&L. Why should I buy your company?
Well, I think it depends on what you want most. So let me ask you this. Let's take it a step further. All right. Mm-hmm. What's most important to you when you're looking at a digital marketing or a digital agency?
Well, people don't know what's good for them. I mean, that's the wrong question.
Do you know what you want?
When Henry Ford, they said, he said people, if you ask them what they wanted, they would say a faster horse.
All right, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you,
Okay.
this is what I basically tell. This is some of the things I've told my close friends
Yeah.
when I
Okay.
call them and I want them.
What does the dealer want? Does the
Yeah,
dealer want more sales? Does the customer want more? Yes, we want all of it. What is J&L going to do for me?
So I'll bring up a story. So one of the first people that we brought on, Gates Automotive Group. There's a lot of stores in Richmond, Kentucky, and then they have stores down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then up in Muncie, Indiana. So I'm going to first address this comment. I know Scott Gaskins. This is the only time I've ever seen him in a coat and tie. So I don't know what he's talking about there. However,
that's photoshopped.
I'll say this. When I called Steve Gates, I told him, I said, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound too good to be true. And that's probably something we were slow to start with digital in terms of getting clients, but we had seen the results. We were very fortunate when we started our digital team. It started with 2 analysts that were head and shoulders. They did not come from auto. They came from an industry that was used to managing. One guy managed budgets of 7 figures. All right. Worldwide. The other guy managed budgets $300,000 to $500,000 a month in the educational space. To satisfy the eyeballs of someone, when you've got to satisfy a client that's spending $300,000 to $500,000 a month and then 7 figures a year, your campaign structure and how you build out your strategy has got to be much more advanced than what the typical auto dealer sees. So when we brought that on, they didn't know anything about auto. What they knew was how to build out something to satisfy someone that's looking at every single detail. And so they built this out. The biggest challenge we had when we first started was, okay, this works right now because, we're starting with 0 digital clients. All right. It's easy to support that many clients. All right. But how are we going to be able to do this and scale it to be able to satisfy the now 700? So we made an incredible amount of, spent a small fortune in being able to do this in a scalable way. The average industry auto dealer, if you look at their Google accounts, and Jamil, it might have changed right now, but let's say they've got anywhere from 8 to 15 accounts set up. We might have 25 to 30 campaigns set up in that structure. We're doing things like Jamil said with the DMS in terms of doing things in Google search that other agencies aren't doing. Almost all of them are working in the DMS and uploading into Facebook and things such as that. There ain't nobody doing it.
That's what I'm looking for. What differentiates J&L from all the competition out there, all the noise in the market? Everybody yelling, we're the best, we're the greatest. What makes you better?
It's the innovation that has allowed us to do so well on the conquest or new business side, but more importantly, to have actual strategies built out for client retention as it relates to digital. And it goes much beyond just, oh, hey, like I just said, we're going to upload some list into Facebook or whatever. Jamil always says something that I find pretty interesting. If you were to ask the typical client, what is your digital marketing strategy? And I was to go to a dealer, 90% of them, 90% would sit there and tell me, well, I spend this amount of money in search. I spend this amount of money in Facebook. I spend this amount of money in whatever, display, whatever it might be, right? That's not a strategy. That's a budget.
Strategy. How much money you spend is not the results you got or the campaign you put together. You guys, I've known you a while now, and the whole theme of J&L Marketing is crush the competitors.
That's right. Move the crowd, crush the competition, count the money.
You guys are so competitive. I mean, this is not about the money with you anymore. It's about the accomplishment.
Well, and that's where Jamil says that's, when we think about our passion as a company, we started in the event business, right? So when you're doing sale events, you're judged based on how big a dealer's weekend was that weekend for what you did. And they judge that success not only based on how many cars they sold or how much money they made, but how well did they do compared to all the other dealers in town. So it was almost like just kind of, it was no way around it, right? To be successful in that business, we had to do everything in our power to focus on a result right now. And when we started asking and polling our customers, that tagline didn't come from us just making it up. There was 6 months of research actually calling our clients, and the things that they were saying that most came up most often were things about quality traffic, more traffic. I need more showroom traffic. I want to beat my competitors. I want to have an advantage over them, right? I like the money it generates. So that's where that tagline came from. We didn't create it. I mean, that was actually.
Well, crush the competition sort of works. I mean, and when you're in the event business, like you guys started out, I mean, that is highly measurable. So agencies today are eluding, staying away from measurement. Measurement scares the hell out of most agencies.
If you saw the level, and Jamil can talk about that, if you saw the level of transparency in it always amazes me when I get on Clubhouse or some of these other social channels, and everyone's still talking about they need more transparency. They need better reporting, more accurate this. And I think to myself, how can anybody buy from someone right now without good reporting that's 24/7 online, or and shows everything that's possible, and more importantly, showed in a format that the dealer can easily understand and simple for them. Not our numbers; these just come straight from Google, right? And they're just displayed in a way that the dealer wants to see it. And it always confuses me why I can't imagine doing business that way.
Out there that isn't transparent anymore. I mean, everybody's transparent. That is such a buzzword. Such a buzzword.
Correct.
Yeah. So Jamil, what else is special about J&L? You tell me.
Yes, I mean, the best way I would describe it is it's just like any product that you have in your house. What makes the iPhone better than other phones, right? All phones do emails, they all do messages, they all can surf the web. So it's a lot of little things that make us better. So I want to go back to what I said earlier. It's our ability to outsmart the competition internally and externally. So I'll give you a few examples. So number one, the data. So we have 3 things at J&L that make us very, very unique. Number one, data. With clients, even on the service side, Jim, we do a full online analysis. Who is your competition online? If you're a service department and you're struggling, as an example, and you're trying to find more revenue in your Honda store, when you type in Honda oil change, who's bidding on it? What are the offers? So how can you be competitive if you don't know what your competition's doing online? So we do that full analysis. On the sales side, we look at offline data. What's your market share look like? What's your cross-sell report look like? Okay. We take all that data and we build out a strategy for our client based off of what we're seeing and what their goals are. The problem in the automotive industry is a lot of the competitors are very templated. Well, this is what we do for a Honda store. This is what we do for Toyota. This is what we do for BMW.
And they all cookie cutter templates is what you're saying.
Absolutely. They all have the exact same strategy. And the reality is every dealership, yes, they want to sell more cars. Yes, they want to drive more service revenue, but they have different challenges. You could have one dealership that does a great job with their current customer base, but they're looking for new customers. Well, for new customers on service, Facebook and Instagram is not your best channel. Paid search is. Okay. If you have a customer that owns the market and they're looking to defend their customer base, then you're going to look at more things around Facebook, Instagram, display to make sure that we're reaching out and we're staying in front of our customers. We might upload the DMS data and bid up for people that are in our database because it's important for us not to lose them, and bid down on conquest. So you have to really understand the data and what your client's objectives are, and then build out a strategy. And that's why I go back to that is how you outsmart somebody. A good financial.
I am listening to you right now. You are speaking fluid geek.
And well, and that's the difference, right? That's the difference between what I was getting at and then got distracted, a budget versus an actual strategy, right? That's the difference between the two. And Jim, I go to a lot of conferences, right? I try to surround myself with people that are much more successful than I am. It's where I learn. So I want to hear from people that are 9 and hopefully some 10-figure people in there, right? And one thing they've all said is make sure you surround your team, people on your team, try to hire smarter than you. So yeah, so you just witnessed some things there with Jamil. You know, you made a joke online saying Jamil's the smart one. And I said, you know, I'll joke around with you back and give him some crap, but yeah, he is the smart one. And if he wasn't, we'd be in big trouble.
He was speaking fluid geek a minute ago, and when they started speaking fluid geek, it was almost like he was an evangelist Pentecostal speaking in tongues.
Oh yeah, Jim, I'm going to say something real quick to your audience because I know you have a lot of automotive dealerships, dealer principals, GM. If you have been working with an agency for the last 2-3 years and you don't feel like you truly understand digital marketing substantially better than you did 2 to 3 years ago, you need to break out that relationship. Part of what you're paying an advertising agency to do is no different than what you pay a financial advisor to do. They are there to not only manage your account, but to help you understand what the heck we're talking about. That's what a good financial advisor does, to understand why you're investing your money in those particular angles, what the reasons are. That's what a good agency does, is they walk you through. They don't just go over numbers. They say, well, here are your numbers. Here's why these numbers are good numbers or bad numbers. Here's what the benchmarks is. And then from everything that you just told me, here's what I'm recommending and why. Now, Jim, what are your thoughts based off of everything that I just said?
What you just said was, my God, you got to have a detail, and you are the representative, the agency is more of a representative of the consumers. What I got out of that.
100%.
So let me ask you, hey Jim, let me ask you this question.
Yeah, ask me.
Let's do. I'm used to being So let's use Jamil's analogy for a second with the financial advisor. If I'm your financial advisor, by the way, you'd be in big trouble if I was. But if I'm your financial advisor and you're always coming to me with the suggestions on what to do, how much is that the type of advisor you want?
Yeah, I think I do.
You want to come to me with what you should do with your money instead of me suggesting to you?
No. Okay.
Yeah. And that's my point. And so the reason that
I want the advisor to be the expert. I'm paying for the expertise.
Exactly. So how many dealers get frustrated because they feel like they're always the ones coming up with the ideas or the strategy or the changes in approach? And the reason that Jamil talks about educating the client is because when you're an agency and you start making these type of suggestions, if you haven't educated them over the first 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24, whatever it might be, a lot of times those suggestions make no sense and they just keep going by gut feel instead of going by the data.
You know, in the movie Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr. kept saying, "What?
Show me the money.
Show me the money."
That's right.
I mean, all the statistics that all the people bring in front of it. Where's the sales? Where's the results?
That's exactly right. I want to see when you go back to crush your competition, are you raising up in the ranks in terms of how you're comparing? You know, are you starting to gain market share against the people you directly compete against? If you were already number one, are you widening that gap, right? I want to measure based on things like that. I want to measure, are you doing this by spending the same or less money because that's the other problem. A lot of times people say, well, you got to spend more. You got to spend more.
Well, listen to Jamil when we were talking about spending $4 or $400 for a program that other dealers paying 80 cents a piece for mailers.
Well,
You're
Jim,
saying are you concentrated on spending less money for better results? Is that what I'm hearing?
absolutely, Jim. I mean, I look at our clients and we have about 500 dealerships that do service marketing with us, digitally speaking.
Wait. Slow down a second.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 500 dealers that are clients of yours with service marketing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Active.
Everybody heard the number 500. I want to get that. Yeah.
Active. Yeah. And here's
you're not operating out of your basement on mom's couch. I mean, this is okay.
No, but what's good about service, and I have to tell this to a lot of dealer principals, and we work with a large auto group, is you can get such a better bang for your buck. And I'll explain why. When somebody's in the market to buy a car, according to Google, it's a 3.5 month journey. Okay. So which means they're going back to Google and they're searching continuously. And you as a dealership are paying every time they search. In service, if I'm looking for a BMW or a Honda oil change, I'm not going to be in market for 3.5 months. I'm probably going to maybe do one search, correct? So our dealerships that typically do it with us, they're spending $1,200, $1,500 a month in total ad spend. And that includes paid search, display, discovery, Facebook, Instagram, and that covers it all.
Slow down say that again. Your average client is spending an average of how much monthly?
$1,200 to $1,500 on ad spend, and that's across all the channels. Where on the sales side, a lot of dealerships are spending $7,500, $8,000, or even more.
I see agencies charging $40,000.
Yeah.
You've got ad spend of $1,200. I mean, is there other expenses on top of that?
Yeah, there's our management fee, but it's pretty much a flat fee, and it covers all of the landing pages, the optimization.
You're charging a flat management fee, and then ad spend $1,200-$1,500 a month.
Yeah, you're around $2,000 total, all in.
So they know how much they're going to spend. I mean, Scott had brought that up earlier, but they know their ad spend and they know your management fee. I mean,
correct.
And I know an agency that last month charged a dealer $40,000.
Correct.
I don't know how much the ad spend part of that was and how much the management.
Can you introduce us to them?
Yeah.
But
you want to meet those guys?
Jimmy,
go get off. I'll tell you who it was. You know them.
So let me just say this. I don't think there's any set amount I think it just depends on the market. The market determines what should be spent. So in other words, I believe on spending every dollar that financially makes sense, that produce a great RO. If that means it's $1,000, it's $1,000. If it's $40,000, it's $40,000. The moment you stop is when you start getting a diminishing return, right? Because that just means the business is out there. And if you're having a lot of success converting them to sales, then why slow down that train?
Makes sense to me. Jamil, you have lit me up with $1,200 ad spend. I'm still stuck.
That's the average. I mean, we have clients that are spending $1,500, and to Scott's point, we have large Honda, Toyota stores in a very metro area like LA, Miami. That's up to $2,000. But relatively speaking, it is the best bang for buck any dealership can do, because typically you walk into a dealership, you talk to a service manager, you say, hey, what are your biggest challenges? And if it's slow, they say, well, we need to get new people or we need to bring back old people. And then you follow that up. Well, what are you doing differently to bring those people in? And typically it's a blank stare, right? And the most cost-effective way to do that is online advertising, catching people at their moment of intent. If they're going to Google and they're not typing your dealership's name in, and they're looking for Honda brakes, Honda service, they are telling you that most likely they're not going to come see you. So you want to make sure that you show up front and center for all those customers. And that's just on the paid search side. And obviously every other channel included.
Well, see, in the sales side of the equation, that dealer has maybe 20 or 30 dealerships in the market that are competitors. Maybe there's 30 other car dealerships that you would call competitors, but the service department has 17,000 competitors in the market. I mean,
that's exactly right.
And
so let's put it this way. If you did a search, oil change near me, right? Something generic, dealers aren't going to bid on that because they can't afford to bid on every term. And the first things you're going to see, you won't even find a dealership on the first page, maybe the first 3 pages. All you're going to see is Jiffy Lube and all the other Valvoline and all the national chains going after that business, which is one of the reasons the independent repair shops take so much business away from dealers, especially once the warranty expires. What Jamil was mentioning earlier.
Well, let me interrupt for 1 second. Now, the Right to Repair Act is going to make it available where independents can do warranty work with factory specs and factory parts.
There you go. So it's going to even compound the problem worse, right? So what Jamil was saying, and by the way, a dealer will never be able to outspend Jiffy Lube. If you knew the amount, so, Shell Oil is one of our clients. They own Jiffy Lube, right? We know how much they spend. We do not have the Jiffy Lube account. I'll just say that right now.
Hold on. Here's the thing, Jim. Jim, out of Jiffy Lube's marketing budget, okay?
Yeah.
5 years ago, starting 5 years ago, how much do you think they were spending on postcards versus paid search advertising?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Tell me the answer.
75% of their budget starting over 5 years ago was on paid search.
Correct.
So the reality is dealerships, we've been so progressive on the sales side. I mean, dealerships for the last 12, 13, I'd say one of the most progressive on digital marketing. But for whatever reason on the service side, we're letting these national independents lap us and pick up these people that are literally telling us they want to get service today. Scott,
you can't get at the top of Google because of the paid map pack at the top. And if the map pack is pushing down all other search below the fold.
Well, that's why the paid is important, and to make sure you get in that. And so then the question becomes, I'll never be able to outspend Jiffy Lube, right? They're spending millions, right?
Yeah.
So, well, Jamil alluded to it earlier. The one thing a dealer has that Jiffy Lube does not have is that's their own previous client file. And when you're uploading that into Google search, not just the Facebook and all the other stuff, but all the other stuff within Google, we are now building out account strategies specific to that. So if you're my client at a dealership and you're in there and I've uploaded your information into Google, right? When you do this generic search, I do know you're out there doing, and I am making sure that I vault over the Jiffy Lubes and you're getting my ads. So it's a way, we have a very unique strategy that allows you to retain a higher percentage.
The dealer's database is going to play into this marketing plan.
Huge.
Okay, so I want to get that because we declined service. How about declined service?
Yeah, you can have a similar strategy with declined service. You can take the declined service, you can upload it. Recalls.
Are you doing that?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, recalls, Jim, a lot of dealerships. So as you know, the manufacturer comes into a dealership and says, well, you have 2,000 unserviced VIN within your AOI or PMA. You need to find a way to do it. And the dealership says, well, those are not in my DMS. Can you give me a list of them? The manufacturer says, no, we can't give you the list of them. It's just there, right? One way you can get a list for free is through recall data. Most manufacturers, you can pull the recalls. A lot of those are people that are not in your DMS. And it's an easy way to go after them is pull those customers, target them for the recall, bring them in, and then obviously cross-sell and upsell. It's a great conquesting approach. You can do it with traditional, but you can also do it with online advertising as well.
That's amazing because 52% of people servicing in the dealership didn't buy their car from the dealership they're servicing at.
Absolutely.
People in the service department, see, people buy a car anywhere. They'll buy a car anywhere they can get a car. I mean, they'll buy a car if, they're shopping, but
Well,
they service close to home or close to work.
so Jim, let me ask you. We brought this up in our masterminds because we got on the topic of conquest and what are some new strategies to build that new business. First off, I think we have to define what conquest and new business is. So, where do you think it's easier to grow, or where do you think your biggest? If you were to ask most dealers, where's your biggest opportunity for growth? Is it servicing or marketing to previous customers or getting new business? A lot of them will say new business. So my challenge to you is just like what you just said. If you have a client that uses your service department or parts department, but has never bought a car from you, and you do a good job working the service lane, right? Mm-hmm. And you sell them a car, is that a conquest sale? They were a previous customer of yours in the service department. Most dealers wouldn't view that as a
sale. I believe
I do too, because you're 100% because it's a conquest for sales, and the reverse can happen. They might be buying cars here, all right, but maybe they've never serviced. Correct. And so if I'm winning service business that is not servicing for me, that's conquest. If I'm selling you a car and 70% of a dealer's database owns 2 or more cars, less than a third has bought that second or third car from the same dealer. So if I sell you that now, the second car or the third car, is that a conquest sale? I'm increasing my share of driveway with you. I view it as yes.
The biggest opportunity for conquest, and I don't know if you and Jamil have even looked at this, the biggest opportunity for conquest is dead leads. Every dealership CRM or DMS has 60, 70, 80,000 thousands of people that submitted a lead and didn't buy from you, but they're still living breathing human beings in your marketplace. They tried to buy a car. Maybe they bought a car elsewhere, but you've got a database of 60, 70, 80,000, every dealer that didn't buy a car from you, real leads. And nobody is retro advertising to. What we do in car dealers is amazing. We spend a fortune advertising into the future for new customers. I mean, we're spending all this money for new business, and we're spending no amount of retro advertising to people that bought a car from us and disappeared, serviced with us and disappeared. They evaporated. We let customers evaporate into the past, but we charge ahead looking for new business. What do you think, Scott?
I agree 100%. And, at some point, if these people were in there or they're in your database, they had enough interest in either your product and or your location and or store to raise their hand. They're in that CRM for a reason. And so I think you're foolish not to do some type of nurture campaign or drip campaign to try and get them back in.
Exactly. Maybe they
and back in, by the way, when I say back in, that doesn't mean you're pushing all your efforts to get them to the showroom, because to me, a phone traffic, email traffic, text.
That was a conversion.
Those people consider themselves people. They think they're in the store, because in today's world, we don't have to show up physically to get the information or do what we want to do. So I think we should get away from saying, oh, it's a phone up, it's an internet up.
No, not at all.
It's all the same. That client thinks they're in the store. To them, they might as well be in the store.
They might as well be in the store. I mean, Google, what does Google My Business change their name to? Google Profile or something like that. Yeah, it's been Google My Business forever. Now that's got another name, but that becomes your showroom. Your website becomes your showroom.
Correct.
The physical showroom, like behind me, that is not necessarily your showroom anymore. Your showroom is your website, your GMB.
Correct.
So where people are online, that's a virtual world, and they're living in that virtual world when they submit.
We still have people today. I get emails all the time. I had an email the other day on a product, and literally, it interested me, and I get spammed with this stuff left and right. But I was interested enough to say, all right, I get the concept and I can see that. I literally asked one question: how much is this? I'm interested. How much is this? And I got the typical thing that I feel like the industry is getting better at, but typical answer: well, it depends on all these variables. We need to set up an appointment to do this, 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 and this. And I said, I don't need to set up an appointment to know the cost.
No.
So, so I want you to think about, let's reverse this for a second. It's almost as if you just said the virtual or the showroom behind is no more important than the one online. I mean, it's almost as, I know this is crazy to say and nobody would do this, but it's basically the same thing. Hey, someone walks into our dealership and we sit there and say, I know this is going to sound corny. Hey, we really need you. Could you, we can't give you that information. I know you want price, but could you go online? We can give it to you there. What's the difference between someone going online and us saying we can't give you a price unless you come in, or can't appraise the car unless you come in? I mean, think of how absurd it would be.
The sales manager with the salesperson, the salesperson says they're on the phone, get them in.
Yeah. How absurd if you had a customer in the showroom that said, I need a price. And we said, well, we need you to get online and fill out this form. We're doing the same thing to the online customers by telling them they have to come in. It's just it's a reverse. The customer thinks they're in it because they're buying things online. They're not, to them, they just want the information. Just give it to them.
So we're setting up advertising campaigns. I'm going to go back to Jamil a second. I don't know which one of you is the smart one. I'm trying to figure it out.
All tough questions need to go to Jamil.
Jamil, we talked about service advertising.
Yeah.
We talked about the prices. Is $1,200, $1,500 ad spend. I mean, you're not killing these people. You got a management fee. So 500 clients. I heard that earlier, and I know you're doing business with some of the biggest names in the industry.
Yes.
I saw your client list. I mean, we're talking about some big players. Why would people call you right now? The number is 502-457-1386. Got it right on the screen. Well, will you guys give these prospects a marketing analysis of what they're doing, whether it's effective or not?
Absolutely. We do that with all of our clients, but 100%, mention that you watch this. We'll definitely do a deep dive on, as an example, what are you doing on Facebook advertising? What's your competition? We can actually show you what your competition's doing. We'll analyze what you're doing on paid search, kind of give you suggestions and recommendations. A lot of times when we talk to our clients, yes, we're doing a demo or a presentation.
I'm talking about a prospective client right now that's thinking about doing business with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if the people that see this broadcast, and thousands of people, I'm assuming going to watch this broadcast, you'll give them a no charge analysis of their advertising, no pressure to buy. You'll just show them what you can do and what they're doing, and maybe the effectiveness of what they're doing. Is that fair, Scott?
I feel like someone once said we give away more stuff free than most people charge for. So listen, when Jamil talks about the research and stuff like that, yeah, he's not kidding around with that. I mean, he can tell you where competitors are having most of their success in terms what their messaging is, what they're running on social. He can tell you it all.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Jamil can look at your marketing and tell you that your competitors are outperforming you in this area. They're outperforming you in this area. Their search is more effective in this area. This is the terms they're using. This is what they're doing.
Recommendations for landing pages. Even if you don't use us, what we would recommend for your landing page.
That's right.
My methodology.
Why would somebody not call you? Why? Listen. If you're watching this broadcast, you need to give Jamil a call. The number's on the screen. I mean, this is a highly effective advertising agency. And I mean, if you're in the car business and you want to see the numbers go up, give him a call. J&L Marketing, Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, these two are backed up with 100 employees that are incredible. Am I telling the real story here, big guy?
Absolutely.
Jamil, he was talking to me.
Okay.
No, there's going to be no bigger jokes, Scott. We won't go there.
When I got these two together, all we lacked is the third one, Curly.
Absolutely. And Jim, you were
any moment I get these two together, I'm expecting one more.
Jim, I'm impressed by you knowing that Google My Business changed to Google Business Profile. Look at that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Google Business Profile. I mean, for a while, what was it before? It was GMB. Before it was GMB, what was it?
I'm not even sure.
I don't know.
They had Google Plus back in the day, and that was what they were trying to do. But they were trying to compete against Facebook. But then they kind of moved more in the direction for businesses. I'm not sure.
I've got all this literature that I've been writing blogs about GMB, and all of a sudden they changed their name. I mean, what a dirty trick.
It makes a little more sense. I mean, it is primarily for businesses, so it's your Google Business Profile. I get it. And then watch out, they're already going to start doing it. Google's going to try to monetize that substantially. Yep. They're not giving up that real estate on that right-hand side for no reason. So there's definitely
wondering about that, because that if you don't have a GMB business profile, if you don't build it, you don't put the photos in it, you don't put your inventory on it, you are nobody. I mean, I see dealers that just absolutely are ignoring the GMB Google profile.
Well, I mean, not to go back to service, but so on your Google My Business profile page, there's products and there's specials, right? And on the service, it's recommended by Google that your service department has its own Google Business profile. You're going to make me say it. And then your sales side, right? So on service, your products are going to be your services that you offer, right? Your oil changes, your alignment, your basic maintenance, and then your specials. Well, if you don't have pages built out for that, you're just going to send all the traffic to the exact same page. So it really starts with the fundamentals. Like I tell dealerships, they say right now, there's some dealerships out there that say we're more busy than we can handle, right? But that doesn't excuse the fact of having a poor customer experience for people that go on your website. So at a minimum, you should at least look at building out your pages on your website for service. There's companies like myself that can help you do that. So that way, if business does slow down, you are ready to go, turn it on, and push some paid advertising to your website.
Absolutely. I mean, so many dealers don't realize the importance of that profile. And because
let's face it.
It's free. It's free. Okay, they're going to monetize it, but right now it's free. I mean,
not only that, but use common sense. When you do your own searches, something local, and that's on the right, it's the first place I look at, because I know that usually I can get the information I need without ever having to do another click. I literally, if that page is set up the proper way, that profile is set up properly, oh, okay, I can just click on this number, or I need to make a call.
There's a phone number, click to dial.
Correct. I mean, it's so easy.
So when you build out that business profile, I mean, all the little Jiffy Lubes are doing that. I mean,
I think most dealers know it's important. It's finding the capacity to keep it updated. I will say that, and I say that most dealers know it's important because when we do webinars on it, it's always one of our most popular webinars. I mean, it's always one of the ones that's most attended, because everyone knows that, okay, I'm not doing a good job here and I need to get better at it. So let me get some quick stuff on this.
Well, fantastic. We have been close to 1 hour just talking about J&L Marketing. How can I get in touch with you? J&L Marketing 502-45. Is that your personal number, Jamil?
That's my personal number. Yep.
That's his personal.
And the other one, go ahead.
Listen, even if you're not calling about J&L and you just want to call Jamil, call him. All right.
Yeah. Just give Jamil a call. He likes to chat about anything. I mean, Even if you're not in the car business, if you just stumble across this one.
Hey, Jim, 35% of our customers are outside of automotive. So absolutely.
We're doing political advertising, HVAC, plumbing, food and beverage. So I mean, it's grown quite a bit.
You got 500 automotive clients, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
More than five.
More than five. More than five.
You got over 700 automotive clients.
So the 500's the ones that are also doing service.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, as we draw down to the end of our visit here, what would you like to tell people about J&L Marketing?
I think if anything else, you owe it to yourself. Listen, a lot of people out there know that either their marketing's stuck or maybe it's plateaued. They know it's not living up to what it really could be. Maybe they've tried 2 or 3 different partners or vendors, whatever we want to say. And maybe in the back of their head, they're like, you know what, I'm not switching again. Everybody's the same. I can honestly say that it's not just claims of, hey, we'll get you more traffic and we'll get you this and that. It's a completely different it's a real strategy for one. And it's the innovation and support that separates us from everybody else. And so you've got 2 different people. Reason a dealer is going to want to pay attention to us is, for one, the innovation and what's going to happen to the end result. But it's also important that they're the people in the store that are actually working with their strategic partners are happy. And for that person to be happy, that's when the transparency and the support has to be there in a big level, in a big way. One that will not only elevate the store in terms of performance, but it will elevate the people at the store that work in digital. When a client works with us after 12 months, that person that's dedicated and responsible at the dealership level for their digital marketing, they are 10 times better than when they started with us. 10 times better.
How about the BDC?
Jamil.
Yeah, I mean, the BDC is involved in some of our calls. It all depends on how much the general manager, that service director, or the marketing manager wants them involved. For some dealerships, they're very involved with what we're doing with digital marketing. I think that's fantastic. They should be. With other dealerships, they kind of put that BDC in that corner.
Yeah, that's an absolute fact. But the BDC is getting more and more important in the dealerships. And,
yep.
The front line. They're the ones that are getting all the calls. Absolutely.
They're processing all the communications. Well, I'm about to pull the plug on the broadcast. I think we've got a lot of information out there. Now, whether you're even in the market for an agency or not, call Jamil. He likes to talk to people. I mean,
he does.
502-457-1386.
But what you were mentioning earlier, Jim, we really will run those reports, and we will do that research. It'll take us about 7 days to accumulate enough data, depending on what you want us to look at. But the value it will bring you, even if you never decided to switch companies or do anything, you'll immediately see where you can improve results, even with what you're currently doing.
Yeah. Okay, hang on 1 second. All right, 502. Yeah, I'm a slow typer. 502, got it? I got it. 502 dash 457 dash 1386. Bam. All right, there we go. Add. I'm trying to put Jamil's phone number up there so everybody can see it. So it's on the screen.
No problem. It's right on my signature, Jim.
It's what?
It's right on my signature. Right.
He's got it on there. Yep.
It's right there. You're good to go, buddy. I saved you the time.
Well, I'm glad you did that for me because oh yeah.
So Jim, while you're doing that, a couple things for your audience, a couple things I would recommend. Number one, we talked a lot about service today. Yeah. One thing that as a takeaway that I would do if I were you guys, good agencies are doing this, scrub out the people that no longer own the vehicle. And one of the ways to do that is IHS Polk offers a service called the SKU or VIN transfer data. Costs the agency a little bit of money, but they should be doing it. You take that data, you upload it, and what they'll do is they'll show if that VIN has changed ownership since their last transaction. What we have found is about 25 to 28% of the list that we receive of even people that have purchased or transacted at the dealership inside of 3 years no longer own that car. So whether you're doing digital marketing, you're doing direct mail, get rid of those people. It's wasted money. It's going to be hard to bring them in for service if you're talking to them about their Honda and they no longer own a Honda. And then
amazing. I have gotten so many calls on cars that I no longer own. I mean, because I go through cars all the time.
So Jim,
on a Corvette I had in 2008. I mean, I haven't had that car in years.
Jim, the reason why people don't do it or agencies don't do it, it costs like 2 cents a record, but it's worth it. You'll get the ROI back twofold, threefold. And then Jim, I think your idea on the sales side, working that CRM data, buying data is very expensive. It can cost you 5, 6, 7 cents a record. When you have a database of 40, 50,000 people in your data that at one point or other, they were interested, I think that's a fantastic idea. You could even use that for customer list targeting for Google and display. And
I know I've seen dealers for years that have all these leads built up in their CRM, and no agency, nobody is tracking that list.
And just to be clear, when Jamil says upload that and find out if they own the car, obviously you're not getting rid of the data, but you have to update your record to say that they no longer own that car, because you still may want to market to them in some fashion, but you don't want to market to them specifically about a car that they do not own, because then your message is not relevant.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, guys, this is J&L Marketing. I'm Jim Ziegler. This is Scott Joseph, and this is Jamil Zabeneh. Zabeneh.
Jim, thank you for your time.
I love pronouncing your name. It's just
Jim, last thing we'll say is Hooday. Let's go Bengals this weekend.
That's right.
We're Bengals fans. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think most of the country is right now, Jim, right?
Well, I don't know. There's got to be a Rams contingent out there somewhere. Somebody's going to be there.
They are. Jim, those people live in St. Louis.
Okay. I have been to St. Louis.
They live in St. Louis. That's where the team is from.
I accidentally got off on the other side of the river with East St. Louis and actually got off in that neighborhood.
Yep.
War zone. Okay, guys, have a great one.
See you, Jim.